Hello everyone. So I just had to do an update on the situation with the drones in New Jersey as well as I believe Germany and other places around the world happening all simultaneously. And I've heard a lot of theories out there about people saying that this is an invasion from other countries or this is our own country staging some sort of invasion. And I wanted to say that, first of all, I have seen alien spacecraft myself. And I'm going to go ahead and read what I posted on Patreon just to start off. I said, I've seen alien spacecraft with ETs in them, which would morph into a flying disc and then turn into a ball of spinning lights. This is something I saw with family members as well as a friend of mine. And we all saw the same thing. Okay? They would put on a show for us and literally entertain us like it was them doing this for us. They would kind of react to what we were thinking and saying. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's just a star. And then it would start doing some crazy stuff. And I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe not. And there was a video I saw of a woman with her child asking for them to blink if they are friendly. And then after like a couple seconds, it eventually started blinking like crazy. I've had that exact same experience. Like literally that exact same thing happened to me. Of course, I couldn't get it on camera. At the time, I thought that it was blocking the camera from being able to see it, but now I realize that it was probably just a crappy camera that wasn't able to pick up the lighting. I don't know. But either way, I couldn't get it on camera. But anyways, I'd like to continue with reading what I posted on my Patreon. I wasn't going to share this publicly at first, but it's kind of become such a big deal that I feel like I just need to share it publicly. So let's continue here. I wrote, they would go in towards each other, these real UFOs that I've seen in the past, and morph into a single ball of lights of different colors spinning, etc. And this was just like a ball, like an orb basically, that would have spinning lights kind of, it was almost like it was made out of like infinite colors spinning all together. And they would look different at different times. They would morph, like I was saying. They looked like stars from far away, but they would have a slight tint of a different color to them. And that's kind of how I would identify them and know the difference between a star sometimes. Although sometimes I'd think something was a star and then it would go, I'm like, oh. So that's a thing too. But generally they have a tint to them. Their ships are basically light beings that merge with the ET. And this is what I concluded after weeks of observing them every night. Years later, I discovered others talking about such things. For a while, I thought I was the only one that came up with the concept that ships are alive, that these UFOs are alive themselves, the ship, and that they morph with the user. So, and then I said, please note these beings are friendly. Now, way back in the woods, in around the year 2005, way back, I chased one of these beings down with a machete. The thing is that it was basically invisible or really good at hiding. So I don't want to get too far into the story because I have a lot to get to. But basically we were seeing them in the skies for like 2 weeks straight, and they were like circling us in our cabin every night consistently. And it was, even though I knew they were friendly, at the same time we were terrified. And so we would sleep with our machetes and things like that. And it was quite an interesting experience. But I do want to start off by saying that I'm fully aware of the concept of Project Bluebeam, which is the idea that they have holographic technology and they can put it into the sky and they can basically create a fake alien invasion. This was something that Stephen Greer has been talking about for a very long time that I actually started posting about on Facebook myself in 2009. So yes, this experience happened to me way back around 2005, 2006 or something around there. And then around 2009, right after Obama became president, I remember I got deeply into these ideas of a possible fake alien invasion. So don't think that I am not fully aware of that possibility. Regardless, I do psychic readings, I do predictions. I've been predicting that there's going to be lots of disclosure for the next couple weeks. I've been saying for a long time that these ETs are coming to Earth and they're slowly exposing themselves to us, and that by 2027 or so, and I've heard this echoed by other people as well. At first I was saying maybe 2026, maybe 2027, but I'm starting to say, just to be safe, 2027. Seems like by then people will be pretty aware that they exist. But for now, I want to get back to what I was posting in my Patreon page, because this is kind of like remote viewing. It's basically just my psychic insights that come to me when I close my eyes and meditate. Basically, I was watching this video, and I will provide a link to this video because I think it's a good video, just compilation of what's going on. And I paused the video and I was like, I need to do a reading on this right now. So I asked, what are these beings doing in the skies? Or are they even beings in the skies, or is this a psyop? And the first thing that I saw was ETs flying drones from underground. So like literally like aliens underneath the earth flying drones. And I know that sounds even more crazy and more confusing, but it gets more interesting as I explain further. This prevents them from being in direct danger. These are also the ETs in their ships. So again, I was seeing ETs underground controlling drones and ETs in the ships as well. I do want to mention that these are different factions. These are kind of like different sides, I guess you could say. I will explain that later. But I'm just reading as it came to me, how I wrote it out. They're doing this in order to distract us from the drama that is on the rise. This is political and kind of negative situations coming in the future that I've kind of spoken a little about in the past. They don't want us to lose track of the mystery of life and get tunnel vision about politics. The other half of the reason is that they want disclosure. These are the ETs, of course. They are not pushing too hard because we would go crazy and destroy ourselves, the Earth, and their homes, as well as possibly them, if they pushed too hard with disclosure. This is part of the major shift taking place I have been talking about for a while now. And just for those who don't follow me, I've been talking for the last couple of years about how there's this major shift in frequency, how things are significantly changing and disclosures coming. The last 2 months, I do psychic predictions every month before the month happens. The last 2 months, I've been seeing it as a pivot, where humanity is pivoting. We've been kind of coming one direction, and it's like the angle has changed, and now we're kind of reversing in the way kind of like Mercury goes direct and then it reverses. It's kind of like we've been in a reverse and now we're going direct again. And this has to do with realigning humanity in a different direction. And we're really starting to see this with the awareness of ETs and things of that nature. And their energy has been directly influencing humanity. They've been purposely shifting the frequency of Earth, and part of this is to make it safer for them, but also for us, so that we don't destroy ourselves, basically. The There's this major frequency shift I've been talking about for a long time now, and 2025, 2026 are like the main years of weird, crazy stuff happening. I've been saying this for years now. And by 2027, it's going to be kind of like a whole new world that we live in to some degree. Of course, we will continue to shift, but that's like the main, like, big part right there, I would say. And I feel that we're heading into that already, going into 2025 now. Some of these recordings happened early in 2024. That being the orb at the airport, things like that. But they're just now coming to light, and since November 2024, we have had a major upgrade energetically, and we are able to accept such things with less negative reactions. And so I was saying last month was a big... I predicted before it happened last month that there would be lots of disclosure, and we did see that at the end of the month, heading into December as well. This will increase as time goes on. We are on course for disclosure. I'm seeing it being connected, or sorry, I'm seeing it being common knowledge that they are among us by 2027. Although there may still be some naysayers with all the political and religious views out there. By 2030, I doubt there will be any more naysayers, though, as far as knowing that they walk among us. I do get the sense that there may be less leaks in December. That's what I was saying for my December psychic prediction video, but more coming in January. And I think that there may be more leaks, more information coming through in January, but the drones might actually fade away in January, or they just won't be as intense or in the news as much. But as far as December, which it is right now, there are drones in the sky, but we're getting a lot of, or ETs and drones, but we're getting a lot of misinformation. For example, we're just referring to it as drones only. So that's why I was saying that December is not really a month of disclosure. We are being exposed to what's going on, but it's not really being disclosed as ETs. It's being covered up as just simply drones and nothing more than that. But that will kind of shift again in January. So, also in my 2025 prediction video, I was also saying that in 2025, I was seeing these light beings coming to Earth and changing humanity. And of course, I don't remember the exact month I said that, but I was saying somewhere like maybe a quarter of the way into the year, these beings that I literally said were going to be ET are going to have an effect on society. And I don't want to get too far into that. I will provide the link to my 2025 psychic prediction below this video, so check that out if you want to see that. I want to get to the point here, though. Continuing on reading what I posted on Patreon here, it is also very important to realize that not all the things in the sky are drones being flown by ETs. Some of them are our government's drones. Most of the lower flying drones are the government. They are tracking these ETs simply to be on top of any new developments. Many of the much higher up vehicles, well, I guess UFOs, do contain ETs in the craft. There is no need for alarm. They are peaceful and simply wish to make their presence known. The government won't make the announcement, and so they are simply allowing those who are ready to know to know. The government is, of course, trying to interfere and make it appear as if it is a foreign government, but it is really their own drones flying below the ETs. I will mention really quickly here that also someone, other remote viewers have been coming out with the fact that this is real ETs, and even just very recently someone commented on my Patreon page. They did a little rating on it themselves, and what was coming through for them was that they are here to kind of show that they can defy our rules, I guess you could say, or in some way they're here to show that we can't stop them. And at the same time that we can't stop them, they are peaceful and we don't need to fight them. And that was the message, and I believe that's very accurate, and that's exactly what's going on here. Okay. Then I went on to write, I must correct myself. I'm starting to see how some of these aliens flying the drones are working with the government and have no desire for disclosure because they are more interested in continuing their science underground with humans without interruption from the public eye. These are different groups of aliens. This appears much more complex than it may seem at first glance, and so many may only see one aspect of what is going on, and there is probably more complexity than even I am picking up on here. Regardless, it is a big mix of many things going on all at once in the sky in an attempt to confuse us. The most important thing to be aware of, though, is that there are real ETs far above the drones, higher up that is, that are here to help ascend humanity or raise our frequency and allow us to kind of overcome many of the things that have been holding us back socially and spiritually, as well as allowing us to not kill them if they show themselves to us. The other thing to be aware of is that this is not their job to do as far as ascending humanity. It is our responsibility to take care of ourselves. They can help elevate us energetically, which they have been doing, sending waves of energy to Earth and raising the frequency. And they can also prevent us from destroying ourselves. But they can't do the work for us. And so we will still have to take charge of our culture and society on our own. I do get the sense that some of the darker plans that would have ended the world are being prevented, and they are simply here to prevent the end of the world and allow us to learn some things from them while still remaining neutral to the control of our own species. And I apologize for people on Patreon. I had a typo there, and I made it sound like their goal was to stay in control of the species, our species. But what I meant to say was that their goal is to remain neutral to the control of our species, meaning that they are not controlling us. We are controlling ourselves. And so I gave an example here of what that's like, why that would happen, and how humans treat other species. For example, if there was an animal facing extinction in the forest, we would probably intervene and help out because we want to preserve the species. Maybe we would make ourselves known as a friend too, to some extent, but we would also try to leave them alone to continue evolving in their own way and not take them out of their natural habitat. That sounds like something that humans would do, right? That's what is going on here. We are ready to evolve, when we are ready to evolve out of our natural habitat, they're going to be there to guide us. But all they will do is prevent us from failing. They can't, take the steps for us, but they can, watch our step. And if we start to fall, they can help us back up. But that's it. We still have to be humans on Earth and evolve on our own. There will not be a dramatic escalation of this leading to massive changes yet, unfortunately, in my opinion, at least, unfortunately. However, they do seem to be playing the long game and waiting patiently with signs every now and then as people slowly wake up to them and can learn to not react in fear. Once people are aware of them, and it becomes somewhat normalized, it will take away a lot of the fear. And that is the goal here. For now, the governments will try to convince you that they are a threat of some sort, but they are not. These are amazing times we are living in. And I would like to say, you know, the governments are actually saying that they are not a threat, but they're also saying that they don't know what it is. They're also saying that it could be some foreign threat. Basically, they're kind of building this fear because they can't just say it's a threat, because then they would have to shoot it down and they wouldn't be able to explain why they're not shooting it down. So they're kind of stuck in that position, but they are trying to make it sound like a threat as much as they can while simultaneously not forcing themselves to have no reason to not shoot it down. And continuing on, when I ask in meditation, when I ask spirit, why doesn't the government shoot them down? The answer I get is that they can't, and they know from experience that they are not able to. It would only make a harder story to cover up for them, because they're trying to shoot these things out of the sky and they're not able to, and people are going to see that and be like, what is going on now? And that would be even harder to cover up. So the governments don't want us to know about the ETs because they are here to help us evolve to a level where we will no longer be reliant upon the government support, upon the governmental system, and they would be replaced with a new form of government. In other words, those in power would lose their positions of power. Also, there could be a lot of damage to the economy because most of the economy runs on gas. And when we're exposed to new technologies that don't rely upon gas and oil, the whole world economy is going to shift dramatically. And a lot of power struggles will happen during that time. And it could be very chaotic for a lot of people. So it is a dangerous situation. So there is some reason for caution with this that I understand and agree with. But on another level, I think that people need to wake up to this at the pace that they are able to handle, at least. This will happen, but for the safety of all involved, it has been agreed upon to not happen too fast, even though the governments would rather delay it as long as possible. Unfortunately, I don't see a ton of escalation in sightings continuing in the short term. It seems there may be a break coming up, possibly in January or sometime around there. It just seems like they may kind of take a break from it all. But then it will come back again, and each time with more undeniability. And it's kind of like training someone, you give them a little bit of something and and then you give them a little bit more later and a little bit more later, just enough to kind of normalize it, but not too much, That's the idea here. This is important so that we can realize they are friendly and that there is a lot that has been hidden from us from the current system which needs to fall. And that's my full Patreon post with a few additional comments added in there as I was reading it. Also, if you want to check out the 2025 predictions where I talked about these alien light beings coming to Earth and significantly changing the direction we are heading as a collective species, check out my 2025 psychic prediction video. I will leave a link to that below this video. And of course, you can always join my Patreon as well for lots of more information on, I do blind readings, which is basically remote viewing where I don't know who I'm reading. And I do this with not people. It would be inappropriate to do it on people who are not public figures. And the way I do it is to view what is the significance of this person to the world, and are they full of it? Like, what can we gain? Are they deceiving people? Should we trust them? That type of stuff. I've learned a lot. My views have changed from doing this process. I have hundreds of them. It's like an encyclopedia of people that you can type public figures' names in the search bar and find them, as well as basically an encyclopedia of crypto coin predictions as well. And you can join for free, by the way. And some of the content is free to the public, some of the content is not, but you can also have a 7-day trial membership for free as well. You just have to cancel it before you get charged. And then you'll have access to just about everything besides the crypto coins. And if you want the crypto coins, then it's the highest tier is $16. The lowest tier is $5 a month, which is the price of a cup of coffee, as they like to say. So check that out too if you'd like to. Links below the video. Thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this content and appreciate it. I would appreciate that myself. So again, thank you for watching and have a great day.